Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 28. It
28.
is Sunday, February 6th,
Do you have a
4
favorite
days.
number 28 in sports?
Ooh, you've got Dominic Moore from the Rangers.
That's who you're going with?
No, I'm putting out the pile of people.
Uh,
Austin Romine, who used to play for the Yankees, his number's there. I don't know for the Knicks, the Giants. Brandon Jacobs was 27.
I feel like
Who's 28?
Elvis Patterson was it? I think there's a couple Yankees are the big ones.
I can't.
Uh,
I
y-
don't know. I know Joe Girardi changed his number to 28 after they won the 27th World
Curtis
Series.
Martin was 28.
Curtis Martin. That sounds really familiar.
He's a Hall of Fame
Bless you.
running back from Patriots and the Jets.
Is Booker on the Giants 28? I
God,
think
this
he
is
is.
terrible. It's rarely I get stumped on a number. Marshall Faulk.
30 will be good. 30 will be good. I
Oh.
can think of some 30.
Anyway, we will move on for not get caught on that topic forever. But welcome, Matty. How you doing? It's a special week. Maddie's turning 16 this week. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. And I don't know. It feels like maybe once you, I don't know, maybe that's 18. But everyone's been saying, like some people have been saying, like when you turn like 16, you start to feel like you have more responsibilities. But
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different for everyone. Depends on where you are in your life, and some people are working, some people have academic stuff, some people have other
yeah,
pressures in life. So
I,
it's all
I'm
day.
I'm excited to turn 16 because it's like there's a
It's a
lot
big
at this
number.
age. Yeah, like
Yeah,
with driving, like with work, and like just a general people, like like what differs between like because I feel like 15, you're still like not young, but you're still like kind of
yeah.
considered a middle schooler because you're getting out of that phase a little bit.
You
But
just take it every day. 16's a big one.
yeah,
Any dinner plans special?
probably not. I always let
What's the go-to meal for Maddie birthday?
it used to be Chick-fil-A. Now
Now you see it too much.
no, I've had too much in the last like 3 days. Um, I don't know. It's usually something takeout, and then cake wise, I always used to be a mint chip ice cream cake guy.
Ooh,
Still am.
that's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I like a little chocolate chip ice cream. It's a little simple. Mint chocolate chip's pretty good. But we'll get into it, Maddie. Where do we want to start? I think we both agree we don't want to talk about the Knicks. It's the same story. It's a little pretty boring. Same drama. We'll see what happens. They're pushing on. Big news on the Giants front. They lose Patrick Graham, which
Mhm.
I'm pretty bummed about. I get it. He was probably in a really awkward situation if Brian Flores is his good friend, and his relationship with the Giants getting passed over for the head coaching job. So
Yeah.
I get it. I don't. Josh McDaniels and the Raiders doesn't seem like a very safe place to go. Seems a
That's
little
yeah. That was kind of like I guess I guess
going to
I
the Steelers
understand
is
it.
one thing. Going to the Raiders, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I guess okay, you're moving for competitiveness because the Raiders are certainly farther ahead than the Giants are in being successful.
I
But
think he had the Giants players that he wanted. I think he had a lot of the player support. I
yeah,
I'm curious to see who they hire. Obviously, there's some big names out there like Vic Fangio, who was awesome with Denver. He was awesome with the Bears. He was awesome with the 49ers as a D coordinator. Then
mhm.
you got the um, Zimmer, the coach from the Vikings, who apparently wants to be coaching again. You have the guy from the Titans, the former coach, but I don't. He runs that
Now,
fourth.
is this for offensive
All
coordinator?
for a defensive coordinator to
Oh, for
replace him.
defensive coordinator,
Yeah, and
Matt
we'll see.
Patricia.
Yeah, I don't think Matt Patricia. There is a guy from the Bears who's interviewed Sean Desai. So we'll see.
Okay, yeah, but
But Giants, I'm excited. I think you're going to be disappointed pretty soon because I think there's going to be a lot of cuts, and you may
I'm
lose some
kind
of
of
the
ready
players you
for
like.
that kind of clean out a little bit because they're like for a while Sterling Shepard always used to be my favorite player in the Giants.
I know, and I
I'm
have a
kind of
feeling
ready for I'm ready
His
for him to
contract's on
go.
the block unless he renegotiates.
Him and Slayton, I would like that. I would like to see them both go. I'm just not a fan of this team right now. It's what is he? Sorry, my dog is barking like a maniac. But they're. I'm not a fan of a lot of the players in this team right now, so I don't really care if they. I don't want to see them cut some guys defensively because I'd say that's where I have the most liking for the players.
I
But
agree. I mean, we've talked about it a million times. Everyone knows what I think about the draft and what you think. Right now, the latest rumors, they're going to take an offensive lineman with one of those picks, maybe trade the other one, but none of us know who Joe Shane's going to be as the GM, whether he's someone who trades, stands pat, aggressive, not aggressive. We'll see.
I would like to see a risk for the second one, for the second pick.
He stole the assistant GM. I think he's only 33 years old from the Eagles, but I just kept thinking, what an awesome job if you were that age to be assistant GM. Jeez. I don't know much about them. The Eagles have had a lot of pretty good scouts come out of their system, so we'll see. But pilfering the Eagles is always good.
Yeah, I mean,
I think now that the season's one game away, I think next year this offseason's going to be crazy. I mean, we talked about it, Brady retiring, so Tampa's. What's going to happen to them? Could they fall apart? What's going to go on with the Raiders? 9 new coaches. The Rams can't bring everybody back after this Super Bowl. Is that team going to stay together or bust? Like all these off-season maneuvers, and where does Russell Wilson go? Where does Aaron Rodgers go? Do the Packers just fall off the face of the earth and Devonta Adams goes somewhere else? It's going to be crazy. There could be a change in quarterback in Tennessee. To hear Aaron Rodgers building a house in Tennessee, so they're saying, oh, he could be a Titans quarterback. What an upgrade that would be.
I'm not for. To me, I feel like he's almost like an injury away from having his career ended for his age.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm not so big. I think his days are limited or numbered. So I don't think I think he better pick wisely if he wants to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think Denver's the good way to go for him.
Yeah.
I don't know what their salary cap situation is, but they took the coach that used to call the plays with him. So it seems to make sense.
It's kind of hard. It's like I'm starting to realize as we do a lot of these episodes, it's kind of hard like going into the topics about teams that aren't playing because it's like hard to change analysis. It's like I feel like it's just right now it's the build up to the draft and it's kind of like
until your draft it's going to be offensive lineman, which is not exciting to you. So you got a long way to go.
I still love watching the draft.
But let's go right to your favorite. It's your birthday. It's your show. Let's hear it. Let's hear. What do you think of the Rangers? Your boy Kreider, goal and assist in the All-Star game, I believe.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. But before we start this, let me see, because like this might be like 10, 15 minutes because I have a little thing like planned for like everything.
All right, just roll with it. I'm here to listen.
We might be able in this episode or future ones to start touching on baseball because that is a disaster.
Yeah, well, as soon as they make it, there's Freddie Freeman rumors bouncing around New York, but I'm sure that's Freddie Freeman's agents drumming that up to get Atlanta to pay.
That would be great. Any of those lefty first basemen of Rizzo, Olsen, or Freeman, those would be great. Those swings are made for Yankee Stadium. They are made to just lift that ball with one hand.
Yeah,
the right
just no 7-year contracts. Let's keep it short with all those guys, huh?
Yeah, but to start with the Rangers, it was a great end to the first half of the year or before the All-Star break because they've now played 47 games and they're 30-13-4, and they had that really odd win against Seattle. They got outplayed. We've seen it a lot actually. They get outplayed pretty much in most of the game, and then
that's what good goaltending could do.
That's the reason you win. Georgiev's in net there. You be trying to get the 2 points in overtime, or the game might have been over already by then. And yeah, they just looked dead, and you're kind of hoping and praying. Like, did you watch the game against the Panthers that Tuesday night?
No, because that was frustrating. It was only on like Hulu and the internet. I couldn't watch the game. I was annoyed. I watched Gamescast. It's so terrible for hockey. It's
that's how I feel when all the home games, because I just want to watch the full coverage on MSG Network because they give. So like we have ESPN Plus, so I can watch almost every single game on ESPN Plus that they have all year. But that game was an ESPN Plus hockey night game.
Yeah, it's annoying.
So it was put on
against one of the best team in the league. You can't watch it.
And
annoying.
It was quite amazing if you watch the highlights.
Oh, I heard all about it. Yeah.
It was Florida. I'll say this: Florida's very good, and my issue with them though is you could be the best 5-on-5 team in the league. You could have great offense, but what's going to happen come the playoffs when you don't play defense? They are so fast in transition.
Yeah.
But the Rangers probably had the most breakaways or 2-on-1s going the other way they've had all year against any opponent. Because that's what they do. They have to rely.
It will be about can you finish?
Yeah, and Zibanejad had an all-worldly pass to Kreider. That was amazing. They just everything, but I miss Fox a lot because I do not like Trub on the power play. He's not. I don't like him on the first line.
I mean, to get an injury and then get a 2-week break is pretty sweet deal for the Rangers as far as timing.
Well, I think they really need to hope that all 4 of the guys, because right now they beat one of the best teams in the league against Florida. Granted,
multiple times they've beat them.
Yeah, and they were missing 4 starters. They're missing Kakko, Hedel, and Fox, who all have started since the beginning of the year, and Patrick Nemeth. He's not that good, but still, that's a starter. Instead, you have guys like Zach Jones, who's been pretty good. But I see once we return, if all those guys are back healthy, you're going to see Brodzinski. He'll be drop down. Zach Jones will be dropped down, and Braden Schneider will definitely stay up because
it looks like he's staying.
Hayek will leave. He'll be done. And let's see. Then they'll have to switch McKegg and Gauthier around if they want to fit.
What do you
Kakko?
But what do you think the trade story is?
I think they're going to make a move. They do have they have cap space to make a move for a trade to kind of just a rental for this year. They have plenty of space to do that. I know all that Strome stuff is going on, but I see them making moves like that for the defenseman out of Arizona, Chikrin, or Claude Giroux from Philly, or Phil Kessel from Arizona.
Claude Giroux, stop that. You cannot have that guy on your team.
But it's amazing, because I'm going to read you some of these stats from as of February.
Turn your light
2nd.
on. You look like you're in the dark over there.
Yeah, hold on. I'll turn it on real quick.
There you go. Hello. He's alive. Alive. All right. Let me hear.
It was pretty dark, but February 2nd, when they played that final game against the Panthers before the All-Star break, in goals for per game, they were at a 3.02 or 3.2 or no 3.02. That's 16th in the league, so that's literally middle of the line. You would like to see them improve on that with how much offense they have, but
yeah,
if they're 30-13-4 now with that, if it gets better, that should be amazing. But what's really setting them apart is their goals against percentage. They have a 2.59 goals against, which is 3rd in the NHL, and then their power play percentage.
Who's number 1? Do you know? Is that in that what you're looking at?
No, it's just the Rangers ranks. But on the power play, they had 3 power play goals against Florida, so they came into the game 10th, and now they have a 25.9% on the power play, which is 5th. So that's, and then on the penalty kill, 82.6%, 9th, which is taking a kind of a slash.
It was like a bad week there.
Yeah, they were like 3rd less than a month ago, and they're 9th, but still that's all right. But this is where it gets ugly. Their shots for is a 28.4, averaging 28 shots a game, which is 30th out of 32 teams.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's not that great. Their shots against, they're allowing 32, which is 19th, so that's not that great either. But what this really shows is that they have outstanding goaltending,
real good.
and they have outstanding special teams. So if that works in the playoffs, but you would really like to see the 5-on-5 play and the shots put on net more and less reliant on Shesterkin in the second half. Because if you become not as like you look at a perfect example, well, Florida, I guess the Florida game is a perfect example. They did rely on him to make big saves in the first 30 minutes of the game before they could create separation after getting the lead and then play well. So like they've been relying on him way too much. Like you look at against Seattle, that completely reliant on him to win to get those 2 points. And there's plenty other cases. I mean, I think he's like 21 wins. So like that, almost I would say well over half of those he has clearly stole without any help.
Yeah,
Basically,
I mean, we all know a goalie could win you a lot of playoff games, and then if you could score power play goals and play okay defense 5-on-5, you could win. It's bottom line. It's a physical contest. You got to be able to stay strong through the long playoff grind, and
and a main part of that has been Chris Kreider's played all 47 games. He has 33 goals, leads the league. 17 power play goals, leads the league. So it's that you really hope he stays consistent.
32 goals from within 2 feet of the net.
I mean, and okay, you could say luck with the tips, the bounces.
That's not luck. That's a skill.
Yeah, he still has a lethal ability, and frankly, like I feel like this is the potential they have waited for him to reach. And I think in 2009,
I think this is more than they were expecting. I think they would have taken a 33 goal season.
Yeah, and even the small stuff is his advantage. His face-off percentage, he's winning 52.3% of the time. That's going to be a career high. They sucked face-offs last year, and they're much better.
Terrible.
They are much, much better. I mean, there's still room for improvement, but they are much better. And that's why, again, that could change how you win or lose games. And he has 18 goals, 31 assists. So maybe you hope he goes on a goal scoring spree. He's been lights out just points wise.
Yeah.
I hope he just hits 30, which he should hit. He should get 12 more goals this year. So it doesn't look like a low scoring season.
It's not a low scoring. 30 goals is a lot of goals.
For him, when you have 41 goals in 56 games in 1 year, you'd expect. I mean, if he played a full season in 2019, 2020, he probably would have hit 65.
He was on an insane pace for sure, but he's still got those streaks in him. Let's hope he gets that hot when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, and another big case, Adam Fox, 44 games, 47 points. I think he's like third in the league in assists. That's not even just defensemen, just assists in all of the league. And that's been another main piece. And to me, it's the free agent signings again. You look at
people were not pumped about any of them.
I think it's a tale of two halves. One, at how much they signed Patrick Nemeth, that wasn't really a good free agent signing.
He's only isn't it like 1.2 or 2 million? It's not like it's made a huge.
He's had a couple personal issues this year, so he's been on and off the ice consistently. So
yeah, it's not like it's a huge contract that's killing you.
But Goodrow
is awesome.
Is doing what career high numbers in scoring, and he's been outstanding. Reeves has been outstanding.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we didn't get to see the season Sammy Blais would have had, which
but he had good. Yeah, I was gonna say he started looking better than we expected. We both didn't know much about him,
and I think the crazy thing here is I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. The Eastern Conference and just how hard it is this year. It is so difficult right now to even compete with any of these teams because if you look right now, there is a clear divide among the 8 in the playoffs right now and the other 8 that are not. And yeah, you've got because right now the bottom from bottom up is Montreal, Ottawa, New Jersey, Buffalo, Philly, the Islanders, Columbus. So those are the bottom 7 teams in the Eastern Conference. And
how many points does Columbus have?
Columbus has 41. So then in the 8th spot, or in the East, or 8th spot, or it's in between. It's like the middle of the line in the Eastern Conference is Detroit with 46 points.
Gotcha.
So they are one spot out of a playoff spot. But that 8th team in the playoff spot is the Bruins. Detroit is 9 points behind them.
Wow.
And so then
It's like the playoffs are going to be determined so far in advance.
to me, it's almost
so weird that it's so 50-50.
Yeah, it's almost Detroit can make something happen. I mean, you could erase 9 points. You could get that spot. It's unlikely. Then you in the 7th spot, 4 points ahead of Boston with 4 games extra played is Washington with 59 points. Then you got Toronto at 61 points, Pittsburgh at 62, the Rangers at 64, Hurricanes at 64.
But the Hurricanes got a million games in hand, don't they?
They have 5 more.
5 games in hand.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And you have Tampa at 66 and Florida at 69. So if you really wanted to look,
does Florida have games in hand on the Rangers?
They're tied.
Okay, jeez, 5 extra games. It's a lot. Like you figure they're going to win 4 out of 5 of those games.
Yeah, and when you look at how Carolina's playing, they start out. There's 2 games that start tomorrow that they play Toronto. So
are those makeups?
Yeah, now we're getting into the makeups. The Rangers will start on the 15th, which is still a ways away. It's killing me to go this long without watching any hockey. There's been like
a shootout
no
on Olympic. Oh, it's women's Olympic. I'm watching right now, and there's a shootout.
And like it's also been no sports. Like the Knicks they had a couple of days off, and it's been terrible to watch them anyway. So like it's not.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch here, and then it really gets bad right after the Super Bowl until the playoffs really start to kick into gear.
But now, our playoff matchups would be Florida versus Boston. So like this is where the awesome playoff series start, because if you really look at it, the 8 teams in the East that are in the playoffs, they have a comfortable view on making a deep playoff run. They all are not expecting to be done early. They all can expect to win the Stanley Cup. And I think that's the case here, because then you have Carolina against Washington, which they hate each other. And
that's good. I'm glad to see one of those go if that was the case.
Yeah, and then you have the Rangers hosting Pittsburgh, which is, and then you have Tampa and Toronto, which is got to be terrible for Toronto because they can't.
They'll win the first 3 games of that series.
And then with Tampa, I don't know. They could three-peat very well, but there's so many good teams this year. The league is so good.
I know it's so hard to three-peat. It's so hard to repeat, like just to stay healthy.
I feel like it was lucky.
Go your way.
I feel like, to be honest, what stinks for Tampa is the last 2 years, though. It still feels like. It just feels like they won the Stanley Cup, but like it just doesn't feel like deservedly. Like in a sense, I'm not trying to bash them.
You got 2 in a row. You did something right.
I mean, but you're going against Montreal, who's the worst team in the league.
That's not their fault. The Montreal made it there. So
then you had bubble playoffs. Like, so everything wasn't like together.
That's like, think of the Giants-Patriots Super Bowl. If the Patriots had won, were people going to give them stuff and be like, "Oh, of course they're going to win"? Like the Giants were 9-7. They were no good. Like they weren't a real good team. Hey, you get there, you earned it.
Yeah, and actually, what's the good part for the Rangers? Their schedule gets decently easier. Not a lot, but like because you come out of the break, you have home against Boston, home against the Red Wings. You go into Ottawa, you want 3 wins out of that. home against the Capitals,
stacking wins on a calendar.
Road against the Penguins, home against the Canucks, and that's your February.
Penguins are hot though.
They needed the break though. They had a couple tough ones. They were on a 4-game losing streak.
Are you bummed that there's no Olympic hockey, or that the NHL players don't care?
I don't care at all. Because what would crush me even more is to watch. Like Adam Fox or Zibanejad just break a leg on the ice and then and they can't return out for the season. Like
the snowboarding they had the skiing on the other day, and it was all fake snow, and it was crazy looking mountains, like such jagged, no trees, no foliage, just scary rock mountains.
Here you go. The Dolphins were going to deal with 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel to be the next head coach.
The 49ers might going to the Dolphins. Have you ever seen a picture of him?
No.
After this interview, Google some of his interviews. He's just like a just looks like a 165-pound just regular guy.
Oh
Apparently,
my god, yeah, he looks so young.
and then you hear him talk like his press conferences. He's like really funny in press conferences, but he just is such not the typical mold of a football coach.
Yeah.
And that's surprising because when I see it, when I see a guy like that, is he going to be able to lead like offensive and defensive linemen and these violent men? I guess I don't know him.
No,
He
it's
just
a good question. It's a
he
good
looks
question
like
to
he
ask.
understands everything. Like I heard him talking about, the theory of where to block and where to put guys in motion and how like everything matters. And like his idea of an offense is terrific. It's kind of like when the Mark Trestman went to the Bears, and the guy could be super bright, but I can't. When I see him in those interviews, I can't see him in front of the whole team being like, "Let's get in there and take."
Yeah, no. I just looked at a
Yes,
picture and I
you don't
agree.
have to do that. But also, the Dolphins fired Flores for this guy who's like 33. I don't know. It's crazy. Football's changing a lot.
Did you see I think because I think we might be able to squeeze a little segment on the Yankees, but I was gonna ask you if you saw. Did you see the play Shesterkin made with his pad?
Yeah.
Like to us, it would have been
Well, actually, which player are we talking about? I've seen players.
Shesterkin. So they were on the power play and he like came up to mid ice and like caught it in midair and just shoved it with his pad and it turned into a 2-on-1 and they scored a goal.
I missed that. Is that an empty netter they got, or that was?
No, game was tied at 2, and that was
Is that the Florida game?
they.
Well, was it the Florida game?
Yeah, they just
of course, because I couldn't see it. So no.
It was the greatest game ever. It was
keep pouring it on there. Lucky it's your birthday.
But it was kind of ugly the first 30 minutes because Florida was all over the Rangers. It was like Shesterkin like, where's the puck? Like, what? Like how did he get that? Like the 10 tips in in a row and he finds the puck but they just look so good. Like they look so good.
Oof, snowboarder just bit the dust on.
I feel like it's just all you have to do is just if you score more goals 5-on-5, and I think that goes more for the youngsters. You need them to like Lafreniere.
Yeah, but sometimes like the playoffs, usually the scoring kind of defense gets tighter. Everyone packs it in, so that's why it's like getting those 5-on-5 goals are even harder. And
a question in the last couple of weeks was like the Rangers are really good, but like they've kind of rolled up and like what do they call it? Laid an egg. They laid an egg against really good teams. Like they have like you saw like against
Florida,
Carolina.
They played good against Florida, not against Carolina.
But I think that was a scheme. We'll just wait till Shesterkin's in the next game I go to, and that would be
a scheme.
They'll never understand what happened.
Let's hope he's healthy.
That was a mental victory for D'Angelo against Georgiev. They gave it to him.
Whatever. We don't need any more D'Angelos in the world.
But do you want to touch quickly on the Yankees? Because there's a couple. We don't have to talk about baseball, but we could talk about.
Baseball is annoying, but I did hear the Freddie Freeman, John Heyman was reporting that the Yankees are going to be in on Freddie Freeman. I feel like that's Freddie Freeman's agent going, "Hey, the Yankees are in," so that the moment that the lockout ends, he could get a bigger deal with the Braves. So I do not want Carlos Correa at all. No,
100%, and I do not. I'm very vocal about this. I do not want Trevor Story, and I do not want Carlos Correa. What I want is
I'd rather wait for
back. That's what I want. I want
Didi Gregorius back. They have those young kids, so like
Didi Gregorius posted a picture on Instagram.
You may get a 2-year deal for Didi.
He posted a picture on Instagram the other day. People were asking for an old pic of me on the Yankees, and it was him and Glaber doing the salsa after a win, and it made me want to die because literally it's like defense and he's a lefty. Like that's what you need. Like, and that's why I don't want to see Luke Voit back.
Well, he was also clutch.
Yeah, and I don't want to see Luke Voit back because he follows the narrative of what's just right-handed power hitters. Like that's why if you have the options of trading for Matt Olson, who's incredible, trading for or signing Anthony Rizzo for short term, who's incredible, and signing Freddie Freeman, hopefully not
Well,
that much
you
money.
can't sign all those guys.
No, but I'm saying if you have those options, I'm sorry, Luke Voigt's been good. He's still a good player, but
Yeah, they got a great deal. They got a guy
he's got
lead
to
the league
go.
in home runs for nothing.
And I can tell you, I'm tired of these Yankees fans talking about Carlos Correa. He is just, but he's not. But like, this is what I'm saying. He's not good. Not he is not good because he cheated. Those numbers are fake stats. Those are
Uh,
fake stats.
Plus, the
You
way he's
cannot.
talked against the Yankees, no
There's no
way.
credibility to his hitting inside Houston from 2015 to 2019. There's
Yeah.
no credibility on those stats
No,
at
you're right.
all.
You're
And
right.
you can't. Okay, everyone's good at defense except Glaber Torres. So like
Not
that's
everybody.
not impressive anymore. Like that's not
It's
defense is not
impressive.
impressive.
It is. You just hate him as much as I do. It's fine.
And
I just
Story
don't
is
break him a Yankee. Story doesn't excite me. You're going to pay him too much at the back end of his career when you got two young guys who could be superstars. So what are we going to give? I'd rather just spend the money on pitching.
My move is trading for Matt Olson. That he had 39 home runs last year, batted 271.
Yeah, but what are you
And
going to? It's all the
you're going
trades
to
are.
trade Voigt for him.
Yeah, you're Oakland. Why would you do that? Let me take a guy
The
who's
Yankees want Matt Olson.
Yeah, they're gonna laugh in your face. Like you want to give me a guy who was hurt all last year, who can't play defense, for a great defender who hit better. Like there's no.
Or Jason
And he's
Dominguez. You could give up prospects. You could give up to me if I'm the Yankees. I would give permission if I was
yeah, but you always
Steinbrenner.
got to think of the other side because they're gonna want something significant. You know.
Well, I would give up any prospect except Anthony Volpe. That's to me, prospects are just prospects. You can get prospects every year. Like you can always bring back prospects. Gleyber Torres was a prospect. Andujar was a prospect, and look where they are. They're not stars at all. Like so, like they're just prospects. Like at some point, I think you have
I
to
know.
unload it for what you need.
I know prospects get people excited though because they end up being future stars, and you don't want to be the guy
Well,
who
Volpe is
trades.
very good, and Dominguez is
But
very
you
good.
never know. Like Jeter wasn't flashy coming out, and then you trade those players away, and they end up doing tremendous. You look like a fool. So people get very nervous about trading prospects.
Well, the other day I was watching the Michael K show, and they were saying Michael K said if he thinks the MLB doesn't get a deal off, like a deal set by February, like the last week of February, that the season will not start on time. And because he said that if you give hitters 3 weeks of spring training, they'll be fine. But if you give pitchers 3 weeks of spring training, they won't be fine. They'll be a little loose to start the year off. But to me, spring training. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm going into the more ethical side of it. You're arguing behind the scenes to both sides, millions and millions of dollars. And right now, you are stopping spring training from happening, which is losing people jobs. People work at it's like Steinbrenner Field, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That people work there. People like some people rely on those jobs. And you have the people at the top right now whining. The owners and the players about they can't come to a deal. They're not even to me they're acting like children. Like they're not even acting like adults because everyone in this scenario has millions of dollars except the people who are getting screwed on the side, who work in the stadiums.
You will see that's how it is almost everywhere in life. The wrong people are always the ones getting screwed.
Like right now, the fact that they're arguing about playoff format, like luxury tax, the threshold, like
it's all about money.
Like you're ruining it for the fans and you're ruining it for the players.
Yeah, they're gonna go too far and they're gonna make a mistake.
Like how much more money does Hal Steinbrenner want? How much more money does Derek Jeter want? Like I'm not saying that it's them, but I'm saying really, like that's a serious question. How much more money do you want? Like what are you really trying to go after here?
Yeah, is it the game of baseball or is it just ridiculous, insane, billions of dollars? But let's leave it there.
Both.
Let's leave it
honestly
there.
Might be both.
Yeah, sure. I want to wish you a happy birthday. I'm sure I'll speak to you before then, but just in case, happy birthday. And I'll
Thank
see you on the
you.
next podcast, being 16, my friend.
Yep.
All right. Love you, buddy.
Love you too. See you guys.
Bye.